Hong Kong has been witnessing series of protests, dissent, pro-democracy movements, etc. What is actually the Hong Kong crisis all about? Why are the protests? Why China is allegedly cracking down on the Hong Kong protesters? To understand this, we should go back into the history of Hong Kong. Hong Kong was part of China. It is a Chinese territory. In 1842, China and Britain fought a war, which is called the First Opium War. The bone of contention at that point of time was China was having a trade advantage over Britain because China was exporting silk, porcelain, and other high value commodities. So, Britain was weak compared to China in terms of the trade. So, the British colonial government encouraged the cultivation of opium in its colony India, in Bengal and other areas, and started illegally smuggling it to China. So, this has hit the Chinese trade interest, and in fact, more and more Chinese people started getting addicted to opium. So, the rulers of China belonging to the Qing dynasty, it is pronounced as the Qing, but the spelling is Qing, but in China it is pronounced as Qing dynasty. So, the then rulers of China have cracked down on the, have ordered crack down on the opium trade. So, the Chinese rulers have strictly prohibited opium. It was an illegal thing there in China. So, the traders were forcefully stopped. So, the Britain got angry. The argument of the British was free trade. So, but the China said, well, opium is a banned item. You can't trade in opium with China. This led to the British aggression, naval aggression in China. British Navy overpowered China because of its technological superiority, and finally because the China lost the war in the First Opium War, the Britain forced an agreement on the China. As per this agreement, the Hong Kong was was taken over by the Britain. So, thus Hong Kong became the British colony. So, finally, in fact, there was a second Opium War in 1860. More and more territories went into the British hands. Finally, in 1898, China has given Hong Kong on lease to Britain for 99 years. This lease came to an end in 1997. So, 20 years before the lease comes to an end, the China and Britain started negotiating on the future of Hong Kong. In 1982, Deng Xiaoping and Margaret Thatcher met to discuss the future of Hong Kong. The Deng, at the time, China made a very interesting proposal to Britain. So, the British should give back the Hong Kong to China, but China will ensure one country, two systems. So, this is called the one country, two systems principle, according to which China will oversee the defense and diplomacy of Hong Kong, but Hong Kong will continue to retain its autonomy, its capitalist economy, its capitalist lifestyle, etc. The famous words of Deng Xiaoping, he told Margaret Thatcher, the horses will continue to run, stocks will continue to sizzle, the dancers will continue to dance. So, that means the lifestyle like horse races, pubs, etc., stock markets, all this will continue. So, China promised to continue the capitalist economic social system. However, the sovereignty of Hong Kong will come back to China. So, as per this agreement, the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region was formed. So, it is called the HKSAR. The Hong Kong special status shall continue from 1997 to 2047. So, the China promised to retain this special character till 2047. As part of this special autonomy given to Hong Kong, it will have a different judicial system, independent media. The judiciary will have a final say, Hong Kong judiciary. So, it need not be adjudicated in China. So, compared to the mainland China, this capitalist Hong Kong will have the stock market, financial systems, free trade systems, free flow of foreign investment, etc., etc. A nominated officer will oversee the administration of the special administrative region. And however, in future, the people of Hong Kong can even elect their own chief executive. So this was the promise given to people of Hong Kong as per the Britain agreement between China and Britain. So in 18 this agreement, in fact 1982 Deng and Margaret Thatcher met, and in 1984 Sino-British Joint Declaration has come, and in 1990 the Chinese People's Assembly passed a law called the Basic Law. As per the Basic Law, the Hong Kong got the autonomy and all that which I have said so far. So the story continued. Hong Kong, even after becoming part of China, the one country, two systems continued. Hong Kong became one of the largest financial markets. It has become a zone of free trade, international trade and finance and shipping center. So Hong Kong has become the heaven of the capitalist. So today Hong Kong has the one of the highest number of skyscrapers. It is a place where there is a large number of high net worth citizens, individuals, and it has the highest number of multi-billionaires. And Hong Kong is a part of China, but completely different from the Chinese social, political and economic system. So this is the character of the Hong Kong, which continues. So now what is the problem? I told you the history. What is the present problem? The protest erupted in China, especially the student protest, the political protest. They are now demanding a democracy in Hong Kong. As per this demand, it really means Hong Kong has to secede from China, because China sovereignty on Hong Kong is questioned by this protest. China believes that these pro-democracy protests are nothing but a subversive activity, nothing but a separatist activity, funded, aided, abetted by the Western powers led by the United States. The objective was to secede from China. So China obviously took this seriously and clamped down on the protest. More recently, China brought in national security law. As per this national security law, any act, if China believes is a subversive activity, is a separatist activity, then that will be tried separately. So the China says we cannot compromise on the national security. China argues that Hong Kong is part of China. We have only agreed for an independent political, economic and social system. But we will not allow Chinese sovereignty to be questioned in Hong Kong. In fact, the Article 23 of the Basic Law, which gives autonomy to Hong Kong, very clearly says that Hong Kong administration will enact laws to prohibit sedition, subversion, terrorist, separatist activities against the central government of China. So, but in fact, the Hong Kong government and administrative system has not brought in these laws. In fact, the mainland China, China has enacted this national security law. So the West, led by United States, believe that this is an attempt to trample upon the one country, two party systems. But China says we are bringing this national security law to protect one country, two systems. Because China argument is first prerequisite is one country. There cannot be two systems without one country. So the Western supported, sponsored protests are attacking the concept of one country. So there cannot be two systems without one country. Therefore, we are ensuring this national security. China's argument is that the new national security law will not in any way jeopardize the Hong Kong's special status in terms of its economy, legal system, media, etc., etc. But only the law and order will be taken care by China. Any anti-China protest will be quelled, though there can never be an activity against the Chinese sovereignty. This is what the China is telling. But the West believes that this is an attempt to do away with the one country, two systems approach as agreed by the China and United Kingdom. So we will have to then, what is the solution out of this? Solution is both China and the Hong Kong protesters should agree that the future of Hong Kong is safe only when both sides respect the one country, two systems. If Hong Kong wants independence or secession from China, I am sure China will not accept. No country will accept its territory to declare independence. India will not agree any Kashmiri demand for independence. We will also not agree. We will only agree for an autonomy to Kashmir, but not independence to Kashmir. Then therefore Hong Kong protesters can ask for autonomy, but they cannot ask for cessation from China. China should also realize that they are committed by the agreement, they are committed by their own law to protect the one country, two systems. So unless both the parties and including the Western powers accept, acknowledge and enforce one country, two systems, there will never be a solution to the Hong Kong protest. So the solution to the Hong Kong protest is sincerely adhering to the concept of one country, two systems.